And I'm for electric cars. I have to be, because Elon endorsed me very strongly, Elon. So I have no choice. But he knows.
So that right there is a classic example of a right-winger saying a thing where when you criticize, in that case, for instance, it being openly corrupt, to say, I was against an industry, an American industry, but I'm now for it because the world's richest man gave me a bunch of money. That seems kind of corrupt. They'll respond and say, well, no, he's joking, because he's got like kind of a lilt to his voice or whatever. But he's also dead serious. He is going to change his tune, at least to some extent, on the fate and future of an industry because a rich guy gave him money, and not just gave him money. We will be following Elon Musk's involvement in the election until the election finally happens. Grok is spreading election misinformation in support of the Republicans. The algorithm has obviously been manipulated to advantage right-wing narratives. There's a lot of that going around. And he's doing it for a reason. He wants money. He wants tax cuts. He wants Trump to do something to either help EVs or maybe stop trying to kill the industry like he has been doing.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
But anyway, yeah, he said, I'm for electric cars. I have to because Elon endorsed me very strongly, Elon. So I have no choice. And if this is reminding you of something from earlier on in the election, it was for me too. Like when he promised oil CEOs that if they give him $1 billion, he'll pay them back many times over. The executives in the room were apparently stunned at how blatantly corrupt it was. He asked them to give him $1 billion. And then said that they would get more from loss of taxation and deregulation. So this is a thing that he just now does, both in private, but also in public. They cheered his open corruption, Francesca.
I mean, it reminds me of like WikiLeaks, if you're listening, find the emails. Like he just says it out loud. And if I'm not mistaken, the $1 billion was in exchange for, he was gonna try and tank the electric vehicle. He's like, I'll slow the development of it. He knows that Biden's got tax incentives around it. So that effectively was what it was. So it is really interesting, John, and we've sort of grappled with this hypocrisy that like Elon Musk does hawk and is the head of Tesla, which is an electric vehicle. There's all kinds of like crap that they engage in terms of like exclusive charging stations that the Biden administration is trying to like get them to reverse course on. But like, yeah, it is really, I'm glad he's corrupt maybe on this, but it's just wild that he's openly saying it. If Kamala Harris came close to saying a fraction of this, even about like, if she was so flip about unions, well, now I've got to talk about, workers' rights and, time off because the unions have endorsed me, and then laughed or like made it sound like a joke, they would ruin her.
Yeah.
But Trump can just say it, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll remind everyone too, remember, he was repeatedly advocating for TikTok to be annihilated. And then he got a bunch of money from the TikTok guy. And now he's like, sleepy Joe Biden wants to kill your TikTok. I'd never do that. It's just like if you're a conservative or a Trump supporter, I know that like you like his new position, all this stuff. And you also liked his previous position because none of this is actually about policy. But like you get that he had a position, a rich person bought him like he's a fancy pet in the mall or something. And now he has the exact opposite position. Do you see that your boy, your God Emperor, can be bought by bigger, richer, tougher men? But anyway, it's just open corruption and something needs to be done about it. And the most consequential to me is obviously what he promised the oil executives. I mean, there is a lot that he can do. I don't know what he'll do with electric vehicles or whatever, but like ending the freeze on permits for new liquid natural gas exports, new leases for drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, reversing restrictions against drilling in the Elastic Arctic, whole bunch of stuff that he could potentially give them. Bear in mind, they're already more profitable than they've ever been before in history, and we export more oil as a country than we ever have before in history. They're doing pretty well as it is, but they could do better if more and more of the government's energy and resources are thrown to just benefiting them financially. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.